this morning, there's a very, very powerful project that is happening this weekend that I want you to know about, okay? So for the purposes of those of you out there who do not really, follow this man that I'm about talking to, you definitely want to take a break right now. Whatever you're doing, just take a break and listen to this man the next 1 or 2 minutes, speak. And I'm sure you're definitely going to be loving every single bit of what he's put together for you this weekend, even before the show happens, okay? So let me introduce to you the one and only. He's is it a king or chief or he's a royal, by the way. And he's here with me in the studio. Nana Asaase is here. Okay. Nana Asaase. Nana, so you have this thing you do, in terms of intro. You have very nice things that you say about people. You say about life. You say about the world.
Yes.
Anytime that you appear at places.
Yes.
What do you say today?
I say the neck of a fowl is a difficult riddle to eat.
The neck
of a fowl
is
a difficult riddle to eat.
It's a difficult riddle to eat.
Yes.
I'm confused.
KMJ, if you've ever been given the neck of a chicken to eat, you realize that at a point you have to give up and just grind all the bones together because take your time to take all the flesh out of it is very difficult. It simply tells us that, life faces us with certain situations that require a lot of patience to deal with. 2, there are certain things we might not be able to do anything about. We just have to accept it as it comes and take it in wholly. So the neck of a fowl is a difficult riddle to eat.
Okay, so how would you put this? Is it a proverb? Is it a spoken
You could
word?
choose to call it a proverb.
Okay.
You see, the realm of the spoken word is broad, but people typically want to tie it down to spoken word poetry. One's word is spoken.
Yeah.
It is a spoken word.
Okay.
So you could call this a proverb or an adage. Mind you, it's an original.
All right, so this man is always, he's all about originality. And so you put this together yourself, basically.
Yes.
And you had to study at the university to be able to see things like this?
It's a gift, but then the gift of being a poet requires that you pay attention to certain things. You need to observe life. You need to observe the things around you because your art feeds off things that are going on around you, from the daily hustle going on, from ceremonies going on, from life's experiences. That is how you become a poet. So society makes a poet, and the poet gives back to society what it feeds off from society.
Okay.
That is all it is. So we are either a mirror or a prism, reflecting society for what it is, or refracting society's many facets.
Awesome. If it's your first time encountering Asaase, he's a renowned poet here in Ghana, Africa. This man has traveled wide, and today he's here with me. Now, it's very simple. He's got something coming up this weekend. It's Mental Pictures 5, and we're going to be talking about it to find out exactly what that is all about. But talking about, being a poet over the period and all that you've gone through, the phases that you've gone through, the performances and every other thing that you've experienced, you think that here in Ghana, we've really done much in terms of projecting that side of the art.
In terms of projecting, we might not have done so much. But in terms of content quality and how far the art has come, I believe that my fellow artists and myself have really put in a lot. And so we have a backlog of content, a backlog of talent. And so you who hold the doors, the media, please give that space for this art form to come through. You don't require much. What do you require? Light, camera, standing microphone, action. Too much content for your audience out there. And so I say that especially when the media go out to cover events, they want the big man's speech. That's what typically makes the story. But if we were to make a deliberate effort and just capture those moments out of events, it would be fantastic. Those moments out of corporate events where artists like us are put on stage, to spice up the event, add some color to it, it will really go a long way to project us. Because all over the continent, in places like Kenya and South Africa, look, it's such a big thing that Ghana could also do our best and put ourselves out there.
Is it because we don't really value, what you give us? Or it's a story of we don't care?
To an extent, some people just do not care.
Okay.
2, some people are just looking for the economic viability of whatever you're doing. In terms of if it's media, they're looking at what would sell. But if you can't really dismiss something when you have not tried it. So give it a try, find the kind of audience what kind of poetry would suit what kind of audience. Do you get my point? And I think people also are not so well informed about what poetry is as an art form. We are typically used to having Def Jam poetry to want to imitate what is going on in the West. But I dare say that every linguist in this country who stands beside a chief who comes before him is a poet. I dare say everybody who sells tomato in the market is a poet. If you've ever bought a trotro, if you've ever had a trotro meat, that is a poet. If you have found your life's calling, you are the best poet. Look, who can tell you better about the surgery situation? Apart from the surgeon, the patient, and the nurses who assist them. Each of them has a unique view they present, which means that poetry as an art form or as a skill says it's in your hand. Depending on whose hands it falls into, the person uses it for good or for bad, to serve any purpose, and he will have a different effect on the audience. The effect you have on your audience might be different from the effect I'll have on the same, collective of people. And so that is what poetry essentially is to achieve for us.
All right, so if you just join us over here on the show, this is Showbiz Now. We're live on Joy Prime. Don't forget that you can also join us via our pages on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. It's pretty simple. Just drop your messages over there. It's Joy Prime TV, and you're good to go. In the studio with me this morning, I have Asaase, and he's a poet, and he's here with me talking about poetry here in Ghana, what we are able to do and what we are not able to do in terms of projecting it, to the bigger picture. But of course, he has a project this weekend. We're talking about that one too as well. So over the period, you've done so much.
Yes,
you went into a bit of hibernation. Was it because of COVID, or it was just to go and see to the kids?
Well, COVID naturally brought what it would bring.
Okay.
But it was also a very good opportunity to recede, observe what you've done, review, and come back with greater force. It's very important that every person is the best critic of their work, so that before anybody sends you an insult, you've already told that to yourself.
Yeah.
And then that way you can take very good criticism, no matter how hard it comes down on you. So that hibernation was to take stock of what we've done, and then to come back with what our new publics will probably be looking for from us.
And this time around, we're looking at mental issues.
Mental Pictures. Mental Pictures is the name of the series.
Okay.
So it's a Mental Pictures series.
Break it down for us.
So the Mental Pictures series is an annual night of literary readings, cultural renditions, and performances. Okay. We treat